All right, we are going to read the parts of a flower together. And now we're still talking about plants and how they grow and reproduce. Pollination's one of those deals, man. And it's one of these things that it's fascinating because I know there's a lot of discussion about honeybees. Why are honeybees important? Why? Ask your mom and dad. I'll tell you why. I mean, think about it. If there's no honeybees, there's no flowers. And remember, we talked a little bit last week about flowering plants versus plants that do seeds and cones, right? And so flowering plants produce fruit. So think about how much food would cease to exist without honeybees and pollination. All right, so we're going to talk about the parts of a flower. We're going to talk about a little bit about pollination and how that whole process works. And if you noticed, today's daily journal was about pollination. So, Mr. T, I'm a pretty clever guy. All right, here we go. Let's get to reading. So, parts of a flower. Flowers such as the lily below are beautiful, but plants do not have flowers to look pretty. Plants have flowers to make seeds and fruits. To understand how, you need to learn the parts of a flower. The first thing you notice about most flowers is their petals. The color and shape of the petals attract insects and other animals to the flower, right? Look at that. That's a beautiful full color, right? I think we have the stamen and the pistil, or maybe that's the pistil and the stamen. We're going to find out. Beautiful stuff, right? It says the bright color and sweet smell of this lily attracts insects, right? Now look at the center of the flower. Can you see the pistil? That's going to be this right here. That's the center. That's the pistil. These are the stamen up here. Stamen, pistil right there, right? Can you see the pistil and the stamens? The pistil is the female part of the flower. The base of the pistil is called the ovary. Yeah, okay. Inside the ovary are many ovules that contain eggs. I wonder if you can show it doesn't show the base in this one, right? That contain eggs, right? The stamens are the male parts of the flower. Notice how the tips of the stamen are orange, right? See that? There they are. There we go. Here it is. All right. Notice how the tips are orange, right? They are orange because they make an orange powder called pollen, right? So right up here, bees come to get pollen or whatnot, or they do their thing and they bring that pollen from flower to flower. So look, the flower of the lily has male and female parts. Look, we have uh, the pistil right here, the stamen right here. We have the ovary is this circle. Inside of the ovary are these little guys called ovules, right? And this whole thing is called the pistil, right? Wow, that's pretty good stuff. Let's keep reading. Pollination. Deep inside many flowers is a sweet nectar. That's what bees go to get. I was at a loss. I couldn't figure out. Bees go to get the nectar, right? Bees and many other insects visit flowers to drink this nectar. As an insect looks for nectar, its body brushes by the stamens, right? Here are the stamens again. They brush these little guys, right? And they grab that pollen that comes right off on the bees, right? Right? Grains of pollen stick to its body. When the insects visit other flowers or another flower, some of its pollen is left on the pistil of the second flower. The movement of pollen from one stamen to a pistil is called pollination. So we need pollination. We do. And bees are a big part of that. Insects are not the only animals that pollinate flowers. Some flowers are pollinated by birds or even bats. Most grasses and trees are pollinated by the wind. Wind blows pollen from the flower to the pistil of another flower. So you have wind, bees, bats, birds, all help in the process of pollination. As this butterfly searches for nectar, It carries pollen from one orchid to another. See it right on its leg. See that? That's incredible. Fertilization. In pollination, right? You know, pollen being transferred from one stamen to another pistil. A grain of pollen lands on the sticky tip of a pistil. Soon, a thin tube grows from the pollen grain. The pollen tube grows down the pistil to the ovary. Inside the ovary are ovules, right? Do you remember this? Inside the ovary, here's the ovary, here are the ovules. Pollen lands on this, a tube goes right down in here, all right, and we're going to get into those ovules, right? All right, inside the ovary are ovules. Each ovule holds many eggs. When the pollen tube reaches an ovule, a sperm cell joins with an egg. The joining of an egg in a sperm cell is called fertilization. After fertilization, the flower begins to change. Seeds and fruits begin to form. The petals dry up, fall off, and then it becomes a fruit. So look at this. We got, oh, there it is, the pollen grain, the tube goes down. Oh, they do a nice little diagram right there, right? A thin tube grows down. There it is, the pistil to the ovary, right? When the pollen tube reaches an ovule, a sperm cell joins with an egg, right there. The thick walls of the ovary protect the seeds as they grow. So what happens is this whole thing right here, that's going to turn into an apple or some sort of fruit, okay? All right, and so here you have these questions before you move on. Which part of the flower holds the ovules? What is the difference between pollination and fertilization? We just went through that, right? This is describing fertilization. Pollination is the transfer of pollen from a stamen to another pistil. And then look at this, predict. Some people use poisons to kill insects that eat crops. And that's important. That is important. We still need to do that. But these poisons can kill other insects too. Hint, hint, like bees. How could these poisons affect the reproduction of flowering plants? So you're going to kind of predict what could possibly happen, right? All right. So let me just show you. No, I won't. I'll go into that in my daily directions. So you'll have a Google form that you're going to fill out here, guys, and you'll have that, and I'll show you that on my daily directions. So without any further ado, Mr. T out.